uh, tale. All right, thank you for joining me. This weekend, we're going to be talking about karma, the Revolutionary War, and we'll make it short and sweet. Also, we're going to be talking about Banshee. I hope I said it right. Banshee, right? The Banshee that they say is in North Carolina, Tar River Banks, right? United States of America. All right, and you're probably wondering, what the fuck is a Banshee, right? It's a ghost or spirit from Irish or Scottish folklore, or Welsh, or something to that nature. And it looks like a woman. A lot of people who have seen her or claim to witness this describe her as a vengeful spirit, a protective spirit, wailing or screaming or hollering, right? So they say that she's either angry or she's sad. And they say that she protects people of a certain bloodline or having Scottish or Irish ancestry. Or also the bloodlines you could be of mixed bloodline, they say, or mixed DNA. Um, they say that this type of spirit goes all the way back, tales going all the way back to ancient Ireland, Scotland, Welsh, and things like that. They say that there is three types of banshees. Okay, there's one that's really beautiful, right? And then there's also the ones that there's two others they say that look ugly, right? Um, they have been found written in texts, Celtic, English, Scottish, Irish, Welsh also. They have been found in different stories and folklore in these regions, different tales dating all the way back. Stories surface how they protect families who can trace their bloodline back to these areas, right? Also, some say they can be summoned, right? But they also, stories from practitioners, have reported that there is no controlling the spirit. So some people have reported that, things can backfire. Um, these are forces of nature like lightning or rain or hurricanes or thunder, something that is uncontrollable, right? Um, no controlling the spirit of supernatural forces, right? They could also turn on the person who summons them, especially if they are summoned against another of their kind. So if you are of, let's just say, mixed, you'll say your mother was Irish and your dad was, I don't know, Italian or something like that. And let's say that someone in your family just, didn't like you and they were trying to just send you malicious intent, but you're from the same bloodline, right? They say that it backfires. So things to that nature. Going back to our story, all right, during the Revolutionary War, there was this man that was living in North Carolina at the time, okay? And his name was David Warner. So back in the 1700s, this man had a mill that was right by the riverbanks, the Tar Riverbanks in North Carolina. And and during the Revolutionary War, he was supplying patriots and soldiers of the New World in the area supplies, right? Well, one day the English redcoats show up at the mill, right? And David took on 6 officers, 6 men. They all had it out, right? So he wasn't going down without a fight, right? Well, one of the commanding officers at the time violently put him to death. They drowned him in the river next to the mill, right? And as soon as they chained him up, they tied his hands, they bound his feet, they threw him in the river to drown. They heard like some kind of screaming, right? And so this terrified the soldiers, right? So they said that there was this mist that appeared over the water, and sure enough, they saw the Banshee. They saw a woman that was screaming. It terrified all the men. They had orders that they had to stay there overnight, right? So they're all huddled, they're trying to sleep, and all night this spirit was terrorizing them. So in the morning, a high ranking officer, a commander, arrived and was asking why they were so jittery, how come they were having such weird behavior, how come they weren't following protocol. And the men confessed to their crime of killing a man or drowning him in the river, and how now there was a spirit for days taunting them, or they were being bugged by something. They thought it was like magic or witchcraft or something that was, mischief afoot. And the high ranking officer got really angry with his men. He forced them to stay at the location as their post as a punishment. The men followed orders, and they all pretty much just tried to hunker down in this area with this vengeful spirit. The high ranking commander took off, went back to his duties, upset with his men. But, their punishment was they had to stay there. They were posted there. And every night these men were haunted by this banshee. One soldier went mad. Two, I think, went missing, or they just took off, or they tried to run from this spirit, right? One man they found dead the next morning. He was floating face down in the riverbanks. Till this day, people in that location, North Carolina, report sightings in the woods, cries from the tar riverbanks. They still claim that this banshee is still alive and kicking in the area. At the end of the day, do you guys think that, this is karma at its finest? Do you guys think justice was served in this story, this true story? Or do you think that not only does karma come and bite you, but, let's talk about bloodlines and ancestry for a minute. They say that this type of entity is tied to a certain cultural people, right? Myths and legends and cultures all over the world, they all have their tales, right? In this case, this comes from a region of people that have believed for years that there are forces bigger than us, right? So do you think that, spirits who are attached to family members and bloodlines, they call them the ancestors, the ancestors and things like that. Do you think that that's also what took place as a form of their punishment, considering what these men were experiencing? Till this day, nobody knows. But thank you for joining me. And do you guys think, what do you guys think? Do you think banshees exist? Do you think this story is just a story? Or do you think there's some truth to it? Like I said, there's been many sightings in the area over the years. I do believe there is some truth to this story because of the many reports. And I feel like that about a lot of things that go bump into the night, or legends or myths or tales of people constantly seeing the same thing. I don't think that's a coincidence, right? There has to be some kind of truth to that in that case, right? All right. I love you guys. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you later.